No! God, please, no! 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 No!
I'm gonna need that.
Run.
I don't want to be making this video. I don't want to be saying the things that I'm about to say in this video. But if there's people like me out in the world that their curiosity gets the better of them sometimes, and you don't want to traumatize yourself, as I did watching this movie, then I'm happy to help however I can. And I can just tell you what's in the movie. You don't have to watch it. You can avoid some trauma. I mean, you're going to be traumatized hearing some of the things in this video. So if you don't have a strong stomach at all, or even like somewhat of a strong stomach, just get out of here now. Don't watch this video because it is going to be disgusting. I traumatized myself so that you guys don't have to. So yeah, like I said, if you have a weak stomach, leave. Leave. This video is not for you, okay? I'm giving you a warning now, so I don't want to hear it in the comments. If you hear something in this video that you don't like, it's your fault because I gave you so much warning. Like, I gave you so much warning. Why didn't you leave? Also, just want to mention that before I say anything really disgusting, I'm going to put a little warning up on the screen that looks like this. So when you see that, just prepare yourself for, you know, probably hearing some of the worst shit you can imagine. Okay, let's just get into it. I'm not going to enjoy this. Our main character, Milo, is a semi-retired porn star. He's got a beautiful wife, he's got a beautiful son, he's got a really happy home life. His wife's name is Marija, his son's name is Petar. Although he is strapped financially, he does have this happy home life, but his biggest problem comes in the form of his jealous brother, Marco, who is a corrupt police officer. And this guy is super jealous of his brother, envies his entire family life. Very important to know for later. So Milo is seeking one last big payday so that he can secure his family's financial future. And that comes to him in the form of one of his former co-stars, Laisla. We'll call her Laisla. And she approaches him and lets him know that there's this opportunity that's paying a lot of money, and he becomes intrigued. She says that it's an art film that's being directed by this guy, Vukmir. And Vukmir is a well-connected, independently wealthy porn director. And he's got his eye on Milo because Milo is well known in the industry for being able to maintain with no visual stimulation or physical stimulation. He's just got it. He can just keep it. If it isn't obvious, I'm going to have to figure out a creative way to say some of the things in this video that I need to say without violating YouTube terms and services. So just be aware of that. So Vukmir offers Milo a large sum of money to star in this new art film that he's making. And Milo, you know, he's kind of unsure about it, but he agrees. Vukmir insists that Milo can know nothing about the script or what they're going to be filming until he gets there to do the project. And of course that makes Milo kind of like nervous because what are we making, bro? Bruh. So Milo's working out, he's getting fit for this final project he's gonna do. And while he's doing that, his evil brother Marco is at home with Milo's wife, and he's just kind of being very kind of aggressive with her sexually. Like, he's not like, he just comes on to her a little bit. He says he misses female company, and then he excuses himself to the bathroom where he into the sink. And you can tell that he's just got like a lot of like pent up tension about this, and he clearly is very jealous of his brother Milo's wife, Marija. The next morning, Milo is picked up. It is shoot day. He's picked up by Vukmir's driver named Ra, and he is driven to an orphanage and given an earpiece. So, you know, things are looking weird. A voice speaks to him from the earpiece and gives him instructions on what to do. He walks around this orphanage, going into various rooms with sexual situations in each room, and they're putting him in these different scenarios to see how he'll react, because they're all like watching him on like the camera monitors. Milo is gone down upon by a woman while they watch on the monitors, and independently on a different monitor there's like a young girl eating like a sweet treat. Her age is teenage, I would say. So, you know, like nothing crazy really on the first day, which of course they're not gonna like throw them into the deep end right away. They want to like test the boundaries, test the waters, keep pushing, that kind of stuff. After the shoot's done, Milo calls his brother Marco, who, remember, he's a police officer, and he's like wanting him to do some digging on Vukmir, because this whole thing just doesn't seem quite right. But the kind of weird thing is that during this phone call, Marco, the brother, is being gone down upon by a woman while he's watching Milo's home movies from when he was a kid.
Bruh.
And his old porn movies.
Bruh.
FBI, open up!
Milo is then led into a room where he is instructed to have relations with an abused woman while a young girl dressed in an Alice in Wonderland costume watches. Milo gets pretty freaking mad and refuses to continue, but he is then grabbed from behind. The adult woman in this scenario threatens Milo to continue by on his okay, it's getting darker. All right, we're getting into the horrible stuff. So Milo meets with his brother Marco to discuss like Vukmir's past and what's going on with this guy. Marco tells him that he, has done several careers kind of in the past. He was a children's TV producer. He's been a psychologist, God, and he has worked for state security. Marco's opinion is basically that Vukmir is a very intelligent guy. Okay, later, Vukmir shows Milo some of his previous work that he's done, in where his driver, Raw, okay, alert, please don't continue if you don't want to hear about just awful things involving babies. The video that he shows him is his driver, Raw, helping a woman give birth to a newborn baby girl, and then he R's the baby. All right, time for a break. Here's a video of something really nice and lovely. Okay, Milo storms out to his car and drives away. He's just completely disgusted by this. The thing about Milo is that, like, he seems to be a pretty nice, moral guy. You know, he is not cool with the stuff that they're leading him into. And it starts from very early. Like, the abused woman, the teenage guy, it's like, no, he's not into it. But at this point in the film, he's like in too deep, and we're about to see kind of how they force him to do this through like drugs and kidnapping and stuff. So he storms off, drives away. At like an intersection, he's approached by Vukmir's doctor, who is an attractive woman. She begins to seduce him, and then he wakes up in a bed 3 days later. He's beaten severely, he's very bloody, and he has no memory of what's happened in the past 3 days. He returns to the set and he finds a lot of tapes. And in watching the tapes, he discovers that over the past 3 days, he has been forced to take a variety of drugs to induce aggressiveness, sexual arousal, and he's in like a very suggestible kind of like hypnotic state. So while he's in this state, he sees tapes of him R-ing a brutally beaten woman, while Vukmir tells him in his ear that she deserves it because she cheated on her husband, who was a Serbian war hero. Towards the end of the scene, he is instructed to brutally beat the woman, and eventually he is handed a machete and ordered to to induce rigor mortis while he continues to do his thing. Another video included Milo being like strapped to a bed face down. Two men come in, one with a videotape and one begins to have relations with Milo via the butt while Milo is completely unconscious. And the final tape shows Lejla, his former like co-star that kind of got him into this. She's chained up in a room. All of her teeth have been removed, and some men come in, and she is forced to fellate them. And as that's happening, they pinch her nose and suffocate her. So Milo continues to follow clues from the videotapes to try to like figure out what exactly happened in the 3 days that he can't remember, only to discover even more horrific things that he does not want to remember. How do I say this? Milo's taken into a room, there's a body under some covers, and he's told to S-word automage the body under the covers. A masked man enters. There's another body next to the body that Milo is. It's revealed that the guy in the mask is Marco, Milo's evil cop brother, and the body under the cover is his wife, Margarita. And then it's revealed that the body under the cover that Milo is on top of is his son, Peter. Okay, let's have a nice video. Let's wipe the slate clean after that. We all need a little break. That's horrific. That's awful. Aww. So yeah, his wife and son. And it's a horrific scene. There's a lot of blood. It is awful. They're both drugged, thankfully. But yeah, just a melee ensues wherein Marja regains consciousness, and Milo begins to, and he's successful at wrestling a gun away from one of Vukmir's bodyguards. Marja bludgeons Marcos, the cop brother, to death with like a statue, while Milo beats Vukmir's head against the floor. Concrete floor, by the way. Which, gosh, if anybody's ever deserved, just my God. And Milo manages to shoot all but one of Vukmir's bodyguards, and one survives like 2 shots to the chest. So, there were some that got away. As he is dying, Vukmir praises Milo's performance, saying, "That's cinema." Confronting the final bodyguard, who's Raw, the driver and horrific, like, birth scene guy, Milo knocks off his sunglasses that he's been wearing throughout the movie, and he realizes that he has one eye. And he tries to shoot him, but he realizes that the gun is empty now because he's on this whole shootout. Milo jams his into the eye socket of Raw, and that kills him. Would that kill? I'll have to ask Dr. Steve about that one. But anyway, in this film, for these purposes, it does. He then knocks his wife unconscious and takes her and their son home. And he locks them in the basement before he passes out. So after he comes to, Milo contemplates unaliving himself, but his wife comes to, and they discuss all of them unaliving themselves together. Milo then gathers the whole family in his bed, and he, you know, kind of embraces them all together, and he fires a fatal shot through all of them while they're embracing. Sometime later, after they are deceased, the bald man who was like one of the bodyguards from before Vukmir's, one of Vukmir's guys, shows up. He is the director now. And he's accompanied by like another porn star and crew. And he instructs one of the actors to start with the little one. So it is a vicious, repetitive cycle of just horrific awfulness. And yeah, that's the plot of A Serbian Film. I first watched this movie because I am a very curious little kitten. You know, there was a period of time where I thought like, oh, I've seen the worst of the worst things in horror. I really wanted to challenge myself and find some just truly disgusting stuff that would make me feel something, I guess is what I was looking for ultimately. And then boy, did I find it. I found a version of this online one night after my shift at the bar, and I watched it. It was like 4 a.m. in the morning, and I was just totally alone, and I watched it. And by the end of the movie, I just felt, I don't even know what it felt. Just disgust, and I felt traumatized, and I felt like, oh my gosh, I need to talk to somebody about this. I need to tell somebody about what I've seen. But to tell somebody about what I've seen would then curse them in knowing the information. So it's not safe, like it's not safe to tell other people about it that don't want to know about it, like my parents. But now I have this YouTube channel and I can just spill it out into the internet world. Let's talk about the director. Let's talk about like what he was trying to do with this. Let's talk about if he was successful. Because people really like debate this movie as if it like actually has something to say, and like maybe it does. I guess that's your own personal journey to go on. The director, who is a Serbian man, he said in an interview, I'll read here, "The major metaphorical take was to treat real life as a pornography. The main character in the film could be a singer, a manager, or a baker. He would end up the same. I didn't want to express my political choices, but it was inevitable because in Serbia, a big part of our lives is about politics. In Serbia, the biggest stars on television are politicians. It also looks like pornography. It's about power, influence, and all of those things. The last few decades of war have left a political and social nightmare here in Serbia. So all those things are just combined. It was accumulating inside of us. It's all about expressing some recessed emotions about our region and the world also. If you scratch the perfect surface of society in today's world, you will of course find bad things down there. You will find the living hell down there. I'm talking about Serbia, about Serbian problems, but it's also a universal story." He also expressed that he chose to title it A Serbian Film because the political sphere in Serbia, they're putting out these movies that paint Serbia to be this, they're like covering up what Serbia was actually like and is actually like. And so to call this film and have it be so shocking and disgusting and awful, a Serbian film, it was a tactic so that when people search for Serbian films online, this is what they find, which is something that I find interesting. Here's what I think. What qualifies as art, you know? Something that makes you feel a visceral emotion, whether you like it or not. I mean, that's considered art. Do I consider this film to be a form of art? Sure. Do I like it? No. I don't like the feelings it evokes. I don't like the lasting visuals that I have in my head forever, but that's my own fault, you know? You know, with the bigger question of like, does this movie have a right to exist? Yes, I think it does have a right to exist. I think anything has a right to exist. Now, whether or not people want to consume that medium, that's up to them, but I think everything has a right to exist. I think like censorship is wrong. If this is the movie that this man wanted to make, he should be able to make it. Now, obviously there are going to be restrictions and things in countries and all the things, but you know, that's going to happen just to keep the public at large safe. But yeah, I do think it has a right to exist. I don't like it, but you know, that's my problem. Before you proceed, just know that there are things that are talked about in this movie that have the potential to change the way that you view the world and the way that you view your own memories in your life, you know, like the birth of a child or you know, your child laying in your lap and you comforting them. This has the potential to color those memories and those moments that you have in your life in a very just awful way. So, you know, unless you just really want to know what's in the movie, I would just avoid this. Unless you want to have the rest of your life colored very differently in a much darker way, I would just avoid this. So I'm just letting you know now, because that was my experience too, is that like, to watch it is one thing, but the images and the ideas that you have in your head afterward, they last a long time. And they're hard to get rid of. So just know that. Just know that. Now, if you decide to go watch it, that's your choice. That's totally up to you. But, you know, hopefully I talked somebody out of it today. He did say that they were very like careful with the child actors and everything, and that they shot all of their scenes separately, away from any violence, and then edited them in later, so that's appreciated. Let me know if you want me to do some more of these like extreme horror, extreme gore recaps. I've seen a lot of them. I don't mind watching them. I would be willing to do that for you guys, to watch the movies like Silo and different things that people think are extremely graphic that they don't want to watch themselves, and I can tell you what's in it if that's something that you're interested in. Let me know. But yeah, if I don't hear like a lot of like, yes, you should do that, I'm not going to do that on my own. So I would need some like overwhelming support on that if that is something that you guys wanted me to do in the future. Let me know in the comments what you think. And again, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.